Hello and thanks for joining me on this episode of Simply Saturday, where I get to show you a card that is fast and easy to make. My name is Julie and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. So today we're going to be using some of the products from this suite of products called Perennial Lavender. Now I am using this stamp set, Perennial Postage. I'm not using the dies that are coordinating with it, although I do have them and they are a super special set of dies to have. But I will be using the stamp set and some other things, and also this paper that is called Perennial Lavender 12 by 12. So let's get started with our fast and easy card. All right, I am beginning with a card base made out of Pretty Peacock. And so the card base that you'll need is 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then you'll just score it at 5 1/2 and fold it. All right, so our card is opening this way for today. Then you'll need a couple of pieces of white cardstock. I like to put a white panel on the inside when my card base is dark, so I've got a piece of 4 inches by 5 1/4 white cardstock. That's going to be for the inside. And then I also have another piece for the front. Now what I've done is I went ahead and ran this through one of the 3D embossing folders from the Essentials set of 3 embossing folders. But you don't have to do that step if you don't want to, or if you're trying to save a little time. This can be just a plain white piece of paper. All right, then you'll want another couple of pieces of cardstock cut to these sizes, and I've used Pretty Peacock again. And so one is a little bit larger than the other, and this one measures 2 inches by 3 3/4 inches, and this one is 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. Then you'll want a couple pieces of the Designer Series paper, and these are cut so that they're just a little bit smaller than these pieces of cardstock. So I've got my main paper, that's what I'm calling my main print. That is 1 3/4 inches by 3 1/2, and my secondary print is cut at 1 1/2 inches by 3. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is attach those pieces of Designer Series paper to the cardstock layers. And I'm using my liquid glue. A little goes a long way. All right, there's that first piece. And then this one. All right, once you have those pieces cut and attached to each other like that, we can go ahead and put the card front together. So I'm going to glue this white piece, which again, I used an embossing folder on, but that is optional. This is going to go down on the front of the card, centered. Just look at your borders all the way around. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is attach these to the front of the card, and they're going to go like this. And because I've got some texture here and it's kind of getting a little thick, I am going to use my Stampin' Seal instead of my liquid glue for this step. I really love the colors in this paper. There are several shades of purple that are in here, including Gorgeous Grape, which is a color that doesn't seem to get used a lot. It doesn't get a lot of attention, so I was happy to see that. And Starry Sky and Berry Burst, several different purples are in this packet of paper. Very, very pretty. All right, and then I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal on this next piece as well. and get it attached. It's going to slightly overlap, and I'm just checking my space above and below to see if it's pretty even. And then press that down. Now for adding our words or our greeting, I'm using the stamp that says "You're Simply Marvelous," and I'm going to be stamping it in Pretty Peacock. At this point, you have some choices to make. I suggest just using 2 different pieces of paper that are nested together so that they layer. So I chose some dies that are naturally created to nest. And in this case, I pulled 2 dies from the Nested Essentials. So I'm using 2 of these rounded squares. And what I did is I went ahead and pre-die cut them. And I have a crumb cake large piece. That's going to go here. And then I have a white out of 1 size smaller. All right, so you could use 2 circles. You could use 2 squares. I mean, really anything, but I like a piece of colored as a layer behind it and then the white on top. So I'm going to stamp on the white piece. And then attach it to my crumb cake layer. All right, now to attach this to the card, I'm going to use some dimensionals just to pop it up, give it a little bit of height. So it's going to go here. Nice and simple. What a beautiful layout. I'm going to show you some more cards at the end of this tutorial using the same layout. So do stick with me. Okay, let me grab my Stampin' Dimensionals. And this is kind of a good size square. So I'm going to go ahead and use 5, 1 on each corner and 1 in the middle. The 4 in the corners could possibly be enough, but I just don't want it to sag in the middle. So I'm going to stick one right there as well. All right, and then this is ready to get placed. And you could determine your positioning. It would look nice, kind of lower. I'm going to go ahead and basically just center it in the space of this piece. Like so. I really love the colors. I love that crumb cake with the purples and the pretty peacock. I don't know. What do you think? Let's add a little bit of embellishment to this, and let's go ahead and put our white piece on the inside as well. You could decide to decorate this piece a little bit if you wanted to with some stamps, or perhaps with a strip of this same paper, something from that paper pack. For the simplicity of this card, I'm just going to leave it plain. And we'll do our embellishments. So I wanted to show you these purple fine shimmer gems. They are really quite beautiful. I just pulled them out to use them on a different card as I was preparing for today. So this is like a full pack, and it kind of has 3 different shades. I'm not sure, let's see here, how well you can see, but it does go from a lighter purple to a medium to more of a dark or pinky purple. All right, so I'm just going to choose 3 gems from the center, that middle color, and add those to the front of the card. I think they're going to look really pretty picking up that purple that shows up in the paper. So I'm going to use 2 of the larger ones. And then 1 smaller one. I think I'll put the small one up here. This one. don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth where I want this one. I basically want a triangle. And so I'm just figuring out which angle of a triangle. All right, we're just going to go with this on the very outside of the card, and then a small one up here to bring the eye up like so. And it's quite beautiful. All right, there is our fast and easy card. Now let me show you a couple of others that are similar, and two that are quite different but with the same layout. All right, so here is a similar one that I made basically with the same colors. This time I chose a scalloped oval and a plain oval. These were cut with dies called layering ovals from a while back. They're not current right now, but you might have them in your collection. And also an older embossing folder with this brick and mortar look. So I used the same papers and just changed up the element here a little bit. All right, then I chose to use some of that Be Mine paper that I've been having so much fun making bee cards and Valentine cards. And here you can see there's our DSP with the colored cardstock backing. There are the little embellishments and the words. In this case, I added a bow and some of those cute coordinating embellishments and stamped an envelope to match it. I also did a quick little stamp on the inside of that one. And then I have one more for you with that same paper packet of Be Mine. This time I used the little red with the flowers. I used some more of those nested essential dies. This time I used these little banner ones to create that. And then of course I used the bee stamps and the punch to get my little bee image there. This one has a few little stamps on the inside and also an envelope to match. So I'm really liking the idea of this layout. You can do so many different things with it. And I'll bring back in our card of the day right here. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today and watching this episode of Simply Saturday. Below this video in the description box, I'm going to put a bunch of information there for you that is helpful, including a current host code, as well as some links that will help you navigate around to find out more information or other pieces of information that might be helpful. Thank you so much for stopping by, and until next time, happy stamping.